give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
Yeah, ladies, I know you're tired of the same old thing. Things have become so mundane. I mean, your bedroom is just so cold. It's so cold, but I'm here to tell you, I got a strategy. We about to heat it up. Come on. One ain't two when you're with me. C ain't after A and B when you're with me. It don't make sense right now, but it will later on when you see how I make you feel.
Where we are bringing you all the news, all the entertainment updates and trending topics of the day with me, your front row seat to the culture. Now tonight, it is all up in the business Thursdays. So we've got power moves, Hollywood shakeups, and major wins in business and sports. And we're going to get into all of that. Jamie Foxx, because Andy's always on theme. Unpredictable. I like the way that song started out because that's how I want you to be for tonight. Relaxed, chilling, maybe a beverage, a snack. It's almost Friday. You might want to get a libation. We don't judge. We listen. We don't judge. So we're going to get into Jamie Foxx. He just inked a big first look deal with Fox Entertainment. We're going to talk about his relationship with Fox and how that has evolved over the years. And, could Jamie be poised to dominate TV again in a different sort of way? Kendrick Lamar, he's stepping into Hollywood. He has a new film coming out. And, initially when this film was first announced, it was quite controversial with the subject matter. It's a comedy. We're going to get into the details of that. And since it's Women's History Month, right, we're breaking down Serena Williams, Issa and some others' sports ownership moves. It's time to look at the women, Black women especially, in this instance, that are making moves and acquiring pieces of franchises. And we're going to look at that business and what it looks like and what it means because, as I mentioned, it's all up in the business Thursdays. We're going to be joined by Mr. Damon Haley of Slayyy Hair. And we're also going to talk about JuJu Watkins. I don't know if you guys saw USC dominate UCLA once again. My bad, Mr. Haley. As it relates to women's basketball on Saturday, UCLA was number one. JuJu, of course, got in her bag. So we're going to talk about she's looking out the front door at the WNBA for sure. And obviously, Caitlin Clark is there. So these two dominating forces are on track to collide at some point. We're going to take a look at both their businesses and break it down. And a couple of other things, more trending topics as we do here. But of course, before we get into all of that, I got a couple of conversation starters for you, things that you need to be aware of that are bubbling in the culture just to keep you up to date. Now, Young Miami, she of the City Girls, which are at the time on hiatus. JT is pursuing her rap career, and Young Miami, her boyfriend got into a little bit of a situation. He's a little caught up right now. And so many were wondering what was going to happen to her lifestyle, what was going to be the next move for her. She still has her Carisha Please podcast that occasionally drops on Revolt. And she has her games that she developed, some drinking games and things of that nature. So she is taking the drinking games on the road for the Risha Reloaded official game night tour. It starts March 9th in Houston. And, people can expect music, games, and exclusive fan experiences. So, would you be down to go out for a night of drinking and shots and games with Carisha? She got to continue the train somehow. People weren't really messing with her solo music. And so you got to have a plan. You got to have a position. We'll see how this works out for her. And again, in keeping with the theme, because it's Women's History Month, Louis Vuitton and Pat McGrath, if you don't know who Pat McGrath is, she is a makeup artist, celebrity makeup artist. She has an incredible makeup line that people die for. Her collections are incredible, known for their depth in color and the richness and so forth. She was one of the, I believe, first Black women. Well, she is now the first Black woman to become the creative director for Louis Vuitton's makeup line. The collection is launching this fall. It's going to include 55 lipsticks, high-end palettes, and LV designed mini trunks for makeup storage. So you can get your little LV makeup trunk. Those are going to sell out, going to be all over Instagram. And she is in history for setting beauty trends for decades. And I think this is just another tool to add into her box. Certainly, I will get Mr. Haley's opinion on that move when we get all up in the business in a moment. And, there's one more thing, and it involves Drake. For the first time in history, the World Cup is hosting its own halftime show. They've been inspired by the Super Bowl, I believe. And, on Good Day New York today, the president of FIFA said that he would be open to Drake taking the stage at World Cup 2026, giving Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance. Now, Drake was at the announcement for the various cities where the tourneys, the friendlies that build up to this, were announced to be taking place. And so now it looks like Drake may be taking center stage next year for a worldwide event. Andy?
Who's the organizer behind this event? FIFA?
Yes.
Oh, FIFA got beef with Kendrick now.
Do they?
That's what it sounds like.
I mean, it was a suggestion. They're trying to capitalize. They're trying to get all views in.
I guess.
When we come forward, we're going to get all up in the business with Damon Haley of Slayyy here. And, we're going to hit these trending topics and headlines. All that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Who cares about the Black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's Black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr every Saturday.
Or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately. Or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-511-2112. That's 800-511-2112. 800-511-2112.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And as I mentioned, it is Thursday. So, we are about to get all up in the business of entertainment and sports. And I'm not alone to break down this subject matter, these topics. I am joined by strategist, author, entrepreneur, many things, many things, a man of many talents, Mr. Damon Haley. Welcome back to Jill Monroe's Entertainment Update here at KBLA.
Hey, Jill. Hey, girl.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm fabulous. Let's go.
All right. So, Kendrick Lamar, he is red hot right now, obviously. He was just name dropped in his song at the Oscars over the weekend. Conan O'Brien dropped that joke and said he was lawyered up. So, he was ready for the smoke should Drake want to get litigious with someone else in Hollywood. But Kendrick's not stopping. He's about to start his world tour with SZA. And then after that, July 11th, his first film, it's called Whitney Springs. It's dropping on Paramount Plus. Now, this film, right, when it was first announced, because it is referred to as a slave comedy. And those are probably two words that most people do not want to hear in conjunction with each other, right? But this is what the project is. The plot, let me break it down for you. A black man working as a slave reenactor at a living history museum finds out his white girlfriend's ancestors once owned his family. Now, I see where you can get your comedic moments in that, but in this current climate, I don't know how this is going to land. And following the year, because we are almost at a year of when Like That dropped, if you can believe it. I don't know if this is the period that you want to put on the year, but here we are, right? Kendrick has always pushed boundaries, right? And so potentially this could be another moment for the culture, or it could be a huge miss. There's already been debate online, again, when the first synopsis or premise came out of the film. But some say it's a brilliant way to tackle race. And, others feel like even within a comedy, so to speak, Hollywood is still stuck on those trauma narratives. So, D. Haley, what do you think that this does for Kendrick? And Andy, I'm coming to you with this as well. For his positioning right now in Hollywood, because he is positioned as an artistic person. He has not a great deal that we are aware of business endeavors that are public facing, but how do you think adding something like this to his jewels, so to speak, is going to land?
I don't think it's going to hurt him, for one. As an artist, as a creative, as a young business person who's trying to get out of just being a rapper or performer, I think it's great for him to give it a shot. Now, the content, I think he'll probably get away with it if it's not tastefully good or it's not creatively good. I think he'll get away with it. Now, in terms of the context, we'll have to see how the story kind of pans out. I'm glad it's not a period piece, for one. And sounds like it's a black dude dating a white girl and they having issues, kind of like the Eddie Murphy, Lauren London kind of relationship.
Right. I'm blanking on the name of the movie.
You and me both, yeah.
But with her, it just came out. Kenya Barris directed it and wrote it. What's the guy's name? And Leah Long played his wife. Anyway, You're correct. Something I forgot to mention, or maybe I did. Trey Parker from South Park fame is directing it, and Kendrick is producing and possibly starring.
Yeah. So producing doesn't mean now if he's a star, that's one thing, or if he's starring in it, that's another thing. But if he's producing, you just never know. We only hear about the stars and the director. He might not even be on set half the time.
As far as a producer,
so
you think it could be a vanity production credit?
Yeah, I mean, it could be 4 or 5 producers. You just never know, but he's probably the most notable.
Right.
And he'll catch a lot of the responsibility. If it's bad, if it's good, they'll applaud the director and the actors. But if it's horrible, he'll get killed. But at the end of the day, it's even better to hear that he's a producer. He probably read the script, learned a lot about it. Him and his team got together and said, hey, why not?
Potentially, Andy, what are your thoughts?
You people, by the way.
You people, that's what it's called. Yeah, I was like, dear people? I couldn't pull it together. I knew there was people in the
great
title.
film. I enjoyed that film.
Kenya said it was a love letter to Los Angeles. You guys can check out that.
To a degree, it was. I did like that. But for me, I think with anything that Kendrick touches, I'm rocking with. Period.
Just off rip?
Off the rip. Because I know he takes the time to, process what's going on. And he's not going to give you nothing that's going to be whack. Trust me, it's going to be thought-provoking. It's going to be well thought. I'm rocking with it, period.
Okay. Well, we will have to see. Like I said, July 11th, it hits Paramount Plus, so it's streaming. It's not going to be in theaters. So, we're going to check it out and see what Kendrick is working with as far as the Hollywood thing, because that is part of the kit. Back in the day, I used to talk about what comes in your celebrity kit. And I would specifically talk about it for athletes, but it can extend to other areas. And, there's certain things that you have to obtain in order to be considered in that upper realm or echelon as far as status goes, I feel, because there are tiers to it. We talk about A-list and B-list, etc. And there's very much that. But even within that, they're still tiered, So, like I said, we're going to get more all up into the business, right? Listen, the ladies are taking over, or at least we're stepping in the right direction. We're stepping hard, right? So it was announced recently that Serena Williams is taking some form of ownership in the Toronto Tempo, which is the newest WNBA franchise. She's going to be heavily involved in merch and things of that nature, developing it. We know she had her own line with Nike, of course, and she has her own line through her ventures, which did very well on HSN and things like that. Her portfolio is crazy. And, there's quite a few women who are involved as far as sports ownership, right? Issa Rae, as we well, maybe we didn't talk about it, but she's a part owner of the San Diego group's WMLS team, right? And obviously they're going to tap into Issa Rae's vast assortment of not only connections, but she has a music company, she has a production company, they do events, things of that nature. I'm sure merch is on the table, so many different things. So with the WNBA expansion, we know there's 2 new franchises that are dropping, one in Golden State, the Valkyries, the WNBA Toronto team that we just mentioned, and the rise in women's sports investments. It's proving that they're valuable, but are these women going to get the same respect? I mentioned that there's others that are also in ownership groups, and we'll get to them in a second, but let's talk about these 2 for a second. What are your thoughts on that? Because we know, obviously, what the WNBA is doing, and part of this recent catalyst for it involves Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and their sort of rivalry that sparked in college and continued over into the league. And we know that women's soccer for a long time was really strong as far as women's sports. And we know that they're both kind of outperforming the men's game. So what are your thoughts about celebrity positioning themselves with sports ownership?
Love it all. I really do. And Serena has, and I think her sister have part ownership in the Miami Dolphins as well.
Yes, they do.
So I think, we know that these ladies are amassing wealth, dollars to invest, as well as notoriety. So with Serena, whatever she does, you go global, at least Europe, Australia, everywhere she plays. So she is a valuable piece of that. And she's been involved with the process of fashion and all that kind of stuff. So Now she has the whole country of Canada.
Right.
Think about that. The whole country of Canada.
Is it bad timing though?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Well, she already dipped in there once, right? In terms, or however we want to say that, right? But she is poised to once again own North America even more than she knows now. Now, Issa Rae, we don't know her as a sports person per se, but everything you said in terms of her creativity, her boundlessness to bring to soccer here in the United States, that's huge, enormous. We just talked about, for the first time, FIFA is saying we're doing a halftime show too. So I think with the women doing it, it's great. And I'll go and I'll tease in some of the others like Mellody Hobson.
Exactly.
With the Denver Broncos. And then I think the smartest person was Arthur Blanks.
Mellody Hopkins, just in case the audience isn't aware, is the first black woman to own an NFL franchise. She's part of the Walter Penner family ownership group for the Broncos, and she's a powerhouse in both business and sports. She's the chairwoman of Starbucks and the CEO of Ariel Investments, and she's also married to George Lucas. So there you go, boom.
And so, yeah, I've had the pleasure of meeting her when I was in business school. She was bad back then. She badder now. And then, Arthur Blanks with the Falcons did something pretty interesting too. So he owns 70% of the Falcons, and the other 30% is divided among like 12 people. So it's 2.5 each. Still has the power, but he gave it away in order to get it bigger. And so just this season or last season, Dominique Dawes, who was a gymnast, she killed it in 1996.
Yep. The
Boom.
Year of the Woman. That was that Olympics.
That was that Year of the Woman. Did a whole thing with USC on that. That's a whole animal. That's when it really started, 96. And then also Rosalind Brewer. So she was head of Starbucks, Walgreens, president of Spelman. She's part ownership too.
Okay.
Along with Will Packer and some other folks. But that's the strategy.
So here's the thing. We saw the same thing in the NBA. We mentioned the Miami Dolphins. Mm-hmm. I remember about maybe 12, 15 years ago, a lot of celebrity ownership was coming in with that. Venus and Serena were two of them. There's a couple of others. I remember the Cavs did that for a while. Usher had some ownership in that. I believe Nelly did as well. So now we are seeing more prominent women. Gabrielle Union and her daughter actually are part of an ownership group for Angel City FC, which is our women's soccer team here in LA. I know that that team it was sold recently. I don't know if the partial owners, like if all of it was sold or if just the majority ownership was sold. But we're seeing more and more women, more and more people in general dive into ownership. I mean, this isn't a woman, but Dwayne Wade has a piece of the Utah Jazz, their NHL team that is newly launched, and a piece of the Chicago Sky. So we know that live sports, as far as streaming, is king. It is the one that gets the eyes immediately and keeps them like no other thing can. What is with the rush to marry, once again, in another way, through ownership? Are they following what Magic Johnson put down, or what is the path?
Yeah, I would say there's ownership, and there's ownership, then there's minority ownership. So we know Bob Johnson, first black billionaire, boom. The NBA at the time gave him the Charlotte Bobcats. And he sold it to the only other person who's had, only black person who has 100% ownership, which was Michael Jordan. This other stuff is minority ownership.
So does it matter?
Oh, it does.
Okay.
Because it's the difference between owning 70% and giving away, like Arthur Blanks and with the Falcons, or getting 2 or 3%. You just kind of
when I say I know what the difference is.
Yeah.
When I say does it matter, I mean if I am getting 2% of a multi-billion-dollar company, right? So the money, relatively speaking, may not be the move or the thing, but the access and the visibility of black faces to behind doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, and that it matters 1,000%, because now you're in the room. Now you get access to the information.
Right.
The issue is, are you the only one? Do you close the door behind you? Or do they close the door behind you and say, we just want your celebrity, we want your money? Because these are the people that are getting access. These are the ladies that are getting access to it. It's normal people that I think there's normal black business people that probably have as much money as some of the ladies that's getting it, particularly Issa Rae, not to get in her pockets, but she's got money, but there's other people that like a Junior Bridgman type of person, that kind of thing. So, but I do think it's great. It's a start. We're getting there. They're learning. They can now spread the information to who knows before you and I close our eyes here. It is a majority. It is, so Bob Johnson and Michael Jordan don't stand alone, as the only ones to have a majority share. But it starts with just learning and getting in the room.
So do you think that with these women in these positions, right, and you mentioned holding the door open, we're already seeing it in coaching to a degree with women crossing over. How do you think it impacts overall business with these extremely popular women? And I might put a pin in you and hold you over for the break, but with these extremely popular women taking these positions, right, and the business of sports, especially involving women, expanding, do you think it opens up the door for more women to step in? Because for a long time in the WNBA, it was male head coaches primarily, right? And even more than that, like we've seen in most other leagues, white male head coaches. So do you think that we will start to see more women CEOs and more women, black women, leading these franchises and so forth? We're going to get to all of that when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580, News, Traffic, and Sports on the other side.
The usual, we getting unpredictable. So try to roll with it, baby. I'ma make you feel, girl. I'll be caution that we get unpredictable. Yeah. I know you're used to dinner and a movie. Why not be my dinner while making the movie? Do you get it? Do you got it?
You're in the know with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. DeSoto County, Mississippi leaders are planning to sue over new legislative maps creating a majority black district. The Board of Supervisors has hired legal counsel to challenge the plan ahead of the August 5th primaries. Elk Grove, California schools are investigating a teacher for sharing racist material during a Black History Month lesson. The Catherine Albiani Middle School teacher is on leave and the district has condemned the content. Black Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown is joining 22 attorneys general opposing a lawsuit that could weaken the National Labor Relations Board power to protect workers' rights to unionize. They urge the court to deny YAP USA Automotive Systems' request to block NLRB proceedings. An African-American Rep, Kwesi Mfume, and Rep. Gerald Connolly are pushing for an inquiry into Trump-era federal job cuts, accusing President Trump and Elon Musk of harming the country while Congress does nothing. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In Commerce, on the 5 North Connector to the North 710, we're getting reports of a pothole that's affecting that drive, and they're saying that it's blocking lanes, but maybe traffic's just be able to squeeze through. Watch out here. Big delays on that 5 northbound all the way out of Norwalk from Carmenita. Also in Santa Ana on the 5 southbound before 1st Street, it's a crash. All the actions in the center divider, delays away from Main Street. And we're also checking out Arcadia, 210 eastbound at the Baldwin Avenue off-ramp. That off-ramp is blocked due to a stalled bus. Delays from Mountain out of Pasadena.
Let Express Employment Professionals help you hire for contract or full-time jobs. Forget about recruiting, sifting through resumes, and interviews with unqualified applicants. Go to expresspros.com to find the location near you. That's expresspros.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
With President Obama in the house, Clippers guard James Harden delivered a spectacular performance Wednesday night at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Harden dropped 50 points in the Clippers' 123-115 win over Detroit, helping the Clippers to snap a 3-game losing streak. The 35-year-old Harden is the first Clippers player to reach 50 since Lou Williams did it at Golden State on on January 10, 2018. Obama, who sat next to Clippers owner Steve Ballmer on the baseline, saw Harden make 14 to 24 shots, including 6 3-pointers. He also made 16 of 20 free throws. Harden ranks 4th in the NBA in 50-point games. Wilt Chamberlain is the all-time leader with 118, followed by Michael Jordan with 31 and Kobe with 25. The Lakers are home tonight against the New York Knicks at Crypto.com. The Lakers, number 2 in the Western Conference, are going for their 8th straight win. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, yo, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
I found out that one of my players was vaping. I brought him in and asked him, where did this stuff come from? He said, it's bigger than you think, coach. He had told me that almost everybody in my team was vaping. The next day, all the parents came in, and I said, hey, you as parents need to do your part. You guys need to figure out how, why, and when this stuff is happening, and we got to get it fixed.
Coach Sanchez and his team took vaping head-on. Learn how he and other Californians are beating big tobacco at undo.org.
Fatherhood includes being present during pregnancy, delivery, and beyond, supporting your partner and advocating for your baby's health. Black fathers play a key role in reducing maternal and infant health inequalities. Join the free AIM Fatherhood Program and make a difference. Visit blackinfantsandfamilies.org/fatherhood.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. It's a Thursday. We're hurting a little bit. You are locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Andy for that stilo from 702. Listen, I forgot a couple of things earlier. One, happy birthday to Shaquille O'Neal. Since we're discussing business, it is Shaq's 53rd birthday, so big up to the big Aristotle and any other nickname you want to insert in for Shaq. He said he'll be back with TNT next season. You know, Charles is still up in the air. With that, and if at any point you want to get in on this conversation, hit us up, 800-920-1580. Of course, hit us up on social media. We are everywhere, KBLA 1580. I'm personally at Stiletto Jill. Holla at me, say hi. All right, now back to the business, because we are all up in the business. I wanted to give you guys a list really quickly of the women. Some of them are in combination with a mate or a child, but that have ownership in professional sports franchises. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have a minority stake in the Philadelphia 76ers. They got into that in 2011. Right? I mentioned Nelly in the Cavs. Usher also has a piece of that. You know, J. Cole has some of the Hornets. We mentioned Venus and Serena. We know Magic. We know Nelly. Michelle Williams, she owns a piece of the Chicago Sky. So hometown franchise, you know, she's in the game as well. Let's see, women. Renee Montgomery, she's a former WNBA player. She is a two-time WNBA champion, and she worked in the executive area as well. She is currently an investor in the Atlanta Dream. She was part of the group that bought that franchise when, what was was it a senator in Georgia, where she said the racist remarks and she didn't support certain things, so the team rallied against her and all of those things, and they forced her to sell the team. Shout out to the OG, Sheila Johnson. You know, we know her as Bob Johnson's ex-wife, who was right there starting BET with him, but she is also part owner of the Washington Capitals and the Washington Wizards and the Washington Mystics. I think she might have sold her share in the Mystic franchise, but she was in that heavy for a period of time. And Sierra and her husband Russell, they also own stake in the Seattle Sounders FC, which is a soccer franchise. So, you know, we're out here growing and putting in the work. Now, before we came forward, I was asking you about positioning and so forth and where we are. And does this set us up for more Black women especially, but, you know, women in executive positions and CEOs in the expanding women's sports arena?
I think it does. If you think of where all of the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball were, like, say, 40 years ago, it was pretty much family. And so some of the teams you're talking about are Major League Soccer teams. You're talking about WNBA. Now it's
franchises.
Yeah, and it's private equity.
Yeah,
that's owning, not just a family. So a group of people says, "Hey, it's no different than buying an apartment building. Hey, let's get together and have an investment club and buy this building." That's what's happening now with these newer. Pickleball is a new one.
Yep.
That'll come forward, right?
Yeah, like Kevin Durant and a couple others. They started a league, and I believe that they have some ownership in some type of.
Right, and so sport is not sport anymore. Sport is still entertainment, where you go and you eat in a luxury suite, you drink, you enjoy time together with friends and fans and all that kind of stuff.
Sport is experience.
It is. So that's what makes it so much broader, and you can have it at the palm of your hand. Now, does it create opportunities for women? Absolutely. Does it create opportunities for Black women? Yep, because you need flavor, you need culture, you need music, you need all of that kind of stuff. And Black women pretty much are intelligent and are close to the culture because they mostly still close to the dudes that's creating it. And so I think it creates nothing but you got a president with the Raiders, the Black woman who's president with the Raiders, poised to control all of that.
We had what was with the Mavs, Cynthia.
Cynthia Marshall. She's a distant cousin of my wife's.
Okay. Shout out to the Bay Area.
There you go.
Oakland girls.
First Black cheerleader at Cal as well. She was.
Was she really?
She was.
I saw her cheerleading photos, but I didn't know she was the first Black one.
Yeah. So once again, when you penetrate these things and get in there, you can't help but to mature, learn, and progress if you have champions within the organization. You can't have gate blockers. You got to have gatekeepers.
So in this era where, entrepreneurial spirit is what is leading us, right? How do people find their way into these type of things? Because a lot of people are looking down on college and school, the expense, is it worth it, time and whatever. So how do you find yourself? Because as you mentioned, these are new franchises built on new money, for lack of a better term. So what would one do to seek that out, and how could they, be a difference maker?
Well, you have to stay aligned with what the future is first to know it's coming. You have to know what's happening in a San Diego with a soccer scene, or with a Toronto with the women's basketball scene. So, and then you have to figure out not what I need now, but what will I need in order to be a part of that. So we know that content capture, social media, having a following, all that kind of stuff is the new equity now. Is the new commerce that you have to have. And some of the times it's not intelligence.
Social capital
it's not intelligence. You still need intelligence, but you just don't need it as much, other than being able to figure out, how do we get more people interested? How do we, like I said, this whole culture creator scenario I shared with you. I mean, we saw last week, Kevin Hart is the culture creator for the Indiana Pacers and the Indiana Fever ownership group. Now, he don't have any connection to Indiana, but they're saying, you're hot, you could do it better than us, go. Same thing with the ladies. Get hot and figure out how to make it go.
Speaking of ladies that are hot right now, we've been talking about JuJu Watkins a bit, and she's red hot. She has her, docuseries on Peacock. We know she has her NIL deals. I think you have to do 3 years in college before you can go to the WNBA. I believe so. She's looking at one more season and then immediately. So next year we'll get to see her in the W. But what do you think as far as business positioning someone like her and Caitlin Clark, who is already in the league, who I actually think has really handled her stardom and the way that she's moved, especially with some of the opportunities and things that have cropped up really well?
Well, Caitlin, she was the one.
We got 1 minute.
Oh, Caitlin's the one who really blew it up, and you need that kind of leader. So just a Midwest girl, Iowa going to Indiana, I think we really maxed out on her. JuJu, I don't know if I was managing her. Yes, she's a student. She just happens to play at SC, but she can get a lot. And I know Rich is smart over there with Clutch Sports, got her. I mean, you really have to make her. What's her social impact? What's her passion? What's her lifestyle? And then you have to elevate the sport. Those are the things those are the things I would focus on with her, because I really don't see her enough. She wasn't part of the award season, which she should have been. She should have been part of the Super Bowl, All-Star, all of that. She should be doing, still performing, scoring her 40 and beating UCLA, but we got to get her out there more.
Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get more trending topics, more headlines, and more all up in the business of entertainment and sports. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked into Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. We are getting all up in the business of entertainment and sports. So we got one more story for you. We're here with Damon Haley, of course, author, strategist, entrepreneur, Glow and Flow Beauty and Slayyy Hair.
Glow and Flow.
So Jamie Foxx, we know we have been celebrating his recovery, his special, and recently, he signed a new first look deal with Fox Entertainment Studios, and he's had a long-standing relationship with the network. Obviously, many of us first saw him on TV and In Living Color, which was on where? Fox. And so now he is going to develop and produce both scripted and unscripted content through his production company, Foxhole Productions, right? And so, of course, they said, we are ready and excited to kickstart this very promising new creative partnership with Jamie and build on as Fox's longtime association with him, right? And so I'm curious, right, because he's had a lot of success with them as far as his game show Beat Shazam, and then they have another version of it that came out later, something a little slightly different. I'm not sure if that still got, they had Anthony Anderson hosting it because of Jamie's illness. I'm not sure if it launched it or what happened with it, but he's also an executive producer on Alert Missing Persons Unit, and that's entering its 3rd season. Obviously, he was in Living Color in the 90s, and earlier this year, his Back in Action movie, which is actually the film that he was working on when he took ill. Was that last year now? Gosh, the time is moving. No, 2 years ago. That was 2023. And that garnered 46 million views on Netflix. And from January 13th through the 19th, it was the platform's most watched film during that period. And it dethroned The Secret Life of Pets 2. So he knocked off Kevin Hart. And, you know, Back in Action had the strongest opening weekend for an English language film since The Adam Project. So it had been nearly a decade since Cameron Diaz had appeared on the big screen, and she dropped back in with that. But what do you think about, you know, Jamie's moves? He has a bourbon out there. Don't know how many people are percolating on that. Obviously, I wasn't even aware that he had the scripted show on Fox. I didn't know that that was his show. We know that he's also one of the producers for Number One on the Call Sheet, which is coming out with Apple TV Plus. Do we expect to see more of the producing hat from Jamie in this next era for him?
I think so. I think that I don't know a lot of his matrix of business, admittedly, but I do know this: everybody loves him. He's uber talented. He can do. You put a camera on him, and he's gonna make something happen. He gonna sing. He gonna imitate. He gonna act. He is a really, really talented dude, which means he, in a room, a creative room, he gonna come out with something extraordinary. And like I said, I think that I haven't heard anything negative in terms of him being hard to work with. Everybody loves him. He's beloved. We loved his comeback, etc. So I think that the First Look deal is a good space for him. The scripted, unscripted, it gives him an opportunity to go either way. And he's a producer that can jump in and really help a young director come with a mature team. So I think sky's the limit for him. Now, the product stuff, once again, some of these actors and athletes, they don't understand what it takes to be a business person, an endorsed, committed, partner like that. But lending your name, it's going to get you some value. So I think he's going to be pretty good.
I mean, the thing that I find interesting about Jamie is he doesn't do a lot of endorsements, right? He's not involved. You don't see him necessarily all over your TV pushing stuff. But when he does, it seems to be right. We know he's the ambassador for BetMGM. We know that the betting space right now is on fire and flush with money. They are dropping bars and cash on various endeavors just to be able to attach their betting name and give you a little code that you can put in there. I mean, big dollars. Andy?
They are reviving certain athletes' careers.
Facts.
For sure.
I mean, if you want to talk, you guys know that I peruse on occasion Gil's Arena and Cam and Mace. It is what it is. And what I can tell you is early season 1 with those deals, they were dropping millions on them, including their co-host and contributors were making upwards of $50,000 a month just to come on a couple of, maybe once or twice a week, based on what they were doing. They are giving huge deals. Gilbert Arenas is paid 3 cents per subscriber on Gil's Arena.
Wow.
They're almost at 1 million subscribers. He also he still owns all of his Gil's Arena and all of those things. It is a licensing to them. In his contract for them, he had them pay for the upgrades to his home to turn it into a production studio, which is top flight from what I understand. So there's a lot of money in that industry, and they are tapping into various areas and looking for creative ways to put it out there. Now, ethically, I think in a couple years, gambling addiction is definitely going to be up, and we are going to have some more issues sports-wise. We've already seen some of those stories, but that's a conversation for another day.
There you go.
If you're just looking at the money, you're just looking at the money. So what are your thoughts, though, on gambling infusing into sports in that way and the type of cash that they're dropping in various areas? I mean, we're coming to a point where I think, aren't we going to be seeing at some point gambling patches on jerseys and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, gambling is all in now. DraftKings, etc. MGM, all getting all the utilizing celebrity to really grow the gambling because they're still leaders. So if I'm looking at Jamie Foxx, people look up to him. He's still got some equity. Kevin Hart's deep in that. The Gill Show and Cam and all of those guys. So
Shannon Sharp too. I forgot to mention.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp. So it's not going anywhere. So whether I think it's right, wrong, or anywhere in between, I kind of just go with the flow and figure out, once again, how do you create a property that you in your heart of hearts can work with and your mama won't get mad at you for engaging in that, because our major sports right now are all in on gambling. So it must be okay. Okay?
So do you see that being incorporated into, like we talked about briefly about Macro and the sponsorship they had at their Oscars party, and we see it all the time where these brands are sponsoring different events and nights. How do you see a brand like a beauty brand marrying a betting brand? Because I'll tell you briefly, I was approached to be a part of a reality show based on betting, about women betting. Here's the thing though, I don't know. I'm not like that. I don't know. I throw my little money on DraftKings because I was given an account like to boost some stuff that I was doing online, but I don't know what I'm doing. But do you think that there is a potential for money in that space that can be made as far as the beauty industry or something like that? Because you think about, we have live sports, we have women's sports on the rise, and beauty is certainly taking an uptick in women's sports because of it, and all the brands. So
yeah, the tunnel walk, if you look at the tunnel walk of some of the WNBA teams, Sephora is already there. If you look at the Macro party, Sephora is already there. So, but also
Skims.
but also Sephora is owned by LVHM. So I mean, it's really about big bank. And so beauty is big bank. So beauty will always be there. Betting is something that men primarily want to do. And probably when, a young girl gets to our age, they're going to be betting, because they're going to bet on women. They're going to learn how to bet, and they're going to learn that betting is okay. That's the thing now. Now betting is okay. When you look at ESPN, they're telling you the line.
They are. Those are shows. I said a few years ago, if I was a young host looking to get into a hosting area, I would focus on gambling as a way in, and that is something that I would start.
And just like a crap table, you can bet on everything with a game. So if I'm a young person, learn math, learn how to bet, and get you a show, because somebody's gonna pay you.
Amen to that. Well, listen, that is a wrap on our entertainment news update for the night. I want to, of course, thank Damon Haley for dropping in to get all up in the business with sports and entertainment on this Thursday. Mr. Haley, please tell them where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me at Damon Haley on all social media channels, as well as www.damonhaley.com. If you want to grab my book, it's on Amazon too. Holla.
All right, Dreams and Hope, that's the name of it.
Baby.
So listen, make sure that you are locked in each and every day, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. for your entertainment news update. Of course, coming up next is The Voice, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Thank you for locking in with me, your front row seat to the culture. Shout out to Zoe Williams for that one. I'll check you guys out tomorrow. Have a good night.
Low buy, big bank, tight, low buy. Type of money you gon' need to sight. Type of money you gon' need to buy. From the hood, this type of money make you stay away. Type of money she gon' let you put it in the fight. Big bank, tight, low buy. Big bank, tight, low buy.
Everything proper, no propaganda. Tropicana, gold yard bandana. Big sack, a lot of like Santa.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Black Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown and 21 attorneys general won a nationwide injunction